They don't fear your anger. They don't fear your tears. Powerful people have seen that show 1,000 times. What they fear is something rarer, something colder. They fear the moment they realize you could disappear from their world and your heartbeat wouldn't change. They fear losing you when they can't predict you, can't purchase you, can't punish you, and can't soothe you back into place. Because that's the point where you stop being a person to manage and become a risk they can't measure. Listen closely. Power doesn't panic when you need it. Power relaxes when you need it. Need makes you loyal. Need makes you explain yourself. Need makes you negotiate against your own dignity. The powerful love that version of you, the version that overtexts, the version that proves, the version that tries to be understood. That person is safe, that person is controllable, that person can be replaced. But the dark trick, the one that makes even strong, high-status people feel a strange anxiety in their chest, is when you become self-contained, when you don't chase, when you don't perform, when you don't beg for clarity, when you stop trying to win them and start evaluating them, when you can sit in silence and not fill it with desperation, when you can hear disrespect and not argue, only adjust. And your adjustment is not loud, it is surgical. Because the moment you become calm, disciplined, and internally complete, you become expensive, not in money, in consequences. They start to sense something. If they mishandle you, they don't get a second chance with the same version of you. And that thought, quiet, rational, unavoidable, creates fear, not emotional fear, strategic fear, the fear of losing an asset they can't easily replace. So understand the battlefield. This isn't romance. This isn't friendship. This is influence. And if you're tired of being taken for granted, if you're tired of being almost respected, then you're about to learn how to become the one absence that echoes inside powerful rooms. The core truth: power fears uncertainty more than enemies. Powerful people don't lose sleep over enemies. Enemies are predictable. Enemies are loud. Enemies announce themselves and move in straight lines. What keeps the powerful alert is uncertainty, especially the kind they can't dominate with money, status, or intimidation. That's why the real threat isn't the person who demands. It's the person who can leave. Not in a dramatic storm, not with a speech, with a quiet, clean exit, because certainty is how they control rooms. And the moment you become uncertain to them, you stop being furniture in their kingdom and become a variable in their equation. Here's the psychological truth. The powerful survive by building systems that reduce risk. They keep people close who are easy to read, easy to flatter, easy to scare, easy to buy. They reward dependency because dependency creates predictable behavior. If you rely on their approval, they own your mood. If you rely on their access, they own your peace. If you rely on their validation, they own your self-image. And the moment they own something, they stop respecting it. They start using it. So the dark trick begins with a decision inside your chest. You will never again be someone's comfort object. You will never again be the loyal extra in another person's movie. You will become your own center. Your reactions will shrink. Your standards will rise. Your availability will become intentional. Your silence will become heavier than your words. And when they attempt the old tactics, delay you, ignore you, disrespect you, pull your attention like a leash, you don't snap. You don't plead. You don't compete. You observe. You adjust. Because when your emotional state no longer depends on their behavior, you become dangerous to their control. They can't predict how to get you back with a compliment. They can't punish you back into line with coldness. They can't lure you with crumbs. They feel something unfamiliar. They might lose you, and you might not chase the loss. And that possibility, even if you never say it aloud, makes powerful people respect you and fear mishandling you. Scarcity with discipline. You remove free access. The first move is not aggression. It's not confrontation. It's not showing them anything. The first move is removing free access to you, because free access teaches people the same lesson every time. You cost nothing to keep. You respond instantly. You rearrange your schedule. You forgive quickly. You stay even when the terms are disrespectful, and the powerful notice patterns like that the way a banker notices interest rates. If you are always available, you are always manageable. If you are always reachable, you are always replaceable. So you do something most people are too emotional to do. You install structure. You decide that your attention is a resource, limited, valuable, and earned. You stop answering from anxiety. You stop replying to prove you're loyal. You stop showing up to fix what they broke, not with theatrics, with discipline. You respond when it serves your standards, not when their impatience demands it. You become consistent in one thing. You do not reward disrespect with access. This is where weak people misunderstand the game and start playing childish, hard-to-get tricks. That's not what I'm teaching you. Games are noisy. Games reveal need. Games are an attempt to manipulate outcomes because you can't command respect directly. Discipline is different. Discipline is quiet. Discipline says, my time is organized, my mind is protected, and my presence is not a default setting in your life. When you withdraw access correctly, something fascinating happens in the powerful person's mind. They don't simply miss you. They begin to calculate you. They ask, why isn't this working? They run their usual strategies: delay, charm, pressure, guilt, and if none of it moves you, they start to sense a line they can't cross without consequence. Your availability becomes a privilege, not a right, and the moment your presence feels like a privilege, they feel a new kind of fear. If they mishandle you, the privilege disappears permanently. That's scarcity with discipline, not absence for attention. Absence as a boundary, and boundaries are where respect begins. Emotional self-sufficiency. You become hard to emotionally buy. Most people think power is built by being impressive. Wrong. Power is built by being unbuyable. Because the second someone can purchase your mood with praise or control your behavior with disapproval, they've found the strings. And powerful people don't just pull strings, they collect them. They study what excites you, what scares you, what makes you rush to explain, what makes you crave reassurance. Then they use it, softly at first, like a test, a compliment to hook you, a delay to provoke you, a cold tone to see if you'll chase, and if you do, they learn a brutal truth. Your emotional center lives in their hands. That's when respect dies. So the goal is not to become heartless. The goal is to become emotionally sovereign. You feel everything, but you don't leak it. You don't hand out access to your inner world like it's a public room. You stop confessing your insecurities to people who haven't earned your trust. You stop explaining your boundaries to people who benefit from crossing them. You stop negotiating your standards in the name of peace. Instead, you become calm in the exact moments others become reactive. You become quiet in the exact moments others start begging for clarity. You become slow, measured, and precise when someone tries to rush you into a weak response. This is masculine stoicism in its pure form: controlled expression, controlled attachment, controlled reaction. Not coldness for show, coldness as a shield. Because when you don't overreact, you deny them feedback. When you don't argue, you deny them drama. When you don't plead, you deny them superiority. And then a powerful person feels something they hate feeling: uncertainty. They can't tell if you're upset. They can't tell if you care. They can't tell what lever to pull to get you back under control. And when someone can't emotionally buy you, they start treating you like you're expensive. They speak more carefully. They test you less. They fear making a mistake because they sense it. You can walk away without needing them to understand why. The mirror of consequences, reward and withdrawal. Now we sharpen the blade, because discipline without consequence is just silence. The powerful do not respect your words. They respect what happens after your words. They respect patterns that cost them something. So you learn a principle I call the mirror of consequences. You don't punish with rage, you reflect with distance. You don't threaten, you demonstrate. You don't lecture, you adjust. The moment they step out of respect, you step out of proximity, calmly, cleanly. No drama, no speeches, no long messages explaining how you feel. Explanations are charity. And powerful people treat charity like weakness. Most people respond to disrespect by increasing effort. They try harder, they become louder, they chase clarity, they fight for understanding. That reaction is exactly what a high-status manipulator expects, because it puts you beneath them, emotionally begging for fairness. You flip the script. When they give you warmth and respect, you return warmth. When they give you confusion, games, or disrespect, you return absence. Not to hurt them, to educate them. You become a system they can't exploit. Understand this. Reward is not affection. Reward is access. Reward is your time, your attention, your availability, your softness. Those things are currencies, and the powerful, whether they admit it or not, trade in currencies. So you make your currencies conditional. You give your best energy to consistency and respect. You give your minimal energy to chaos. You stop feeding bad behavior with emotional intensity, because intensity, even negative intensity, is still attention. Attention still feels like importance. When they test you, and they will test you, you don't snap, you don't beg, you simply let the consequence land. A slower response, a shorter conversation, a cancelled plan, a polite distance, a calm, not today. And you don't explain it like a victim, you wear it like a standard. That's what creates fear in powerful people. They realize you're not trapped in your feelings. You're governed by your rules. They can't bait you into emotional labor. They can't derail you with mood swings. And once they learn that disrespect loses access to you, they become careful. They become strategic. They start maintaining you instead of using you, because they've finally met someone who doesn't argue for respect, someone who enforces it. The replacement illusion. You stop competing and become singular. They replace people every day, not because they're evil, because it's efficient. Powerful people live in a world where faces rotate, loyalty is rented, and attention is traded like currency. If you are only nice, you are a commodity. If you are only available, you are inventory. If you are only useful, you are a tool. Tools get swapped the moment a sharper one appears. So if you want the powerful to fear losing you, you must destroy the replacement illusion inside their mind. You must become the one thing they can't simply buy again with another name, another smile, another body. And you don't do that by competing. Competing makes you one more desperate applicant begging for selection. You do it by becoming singular. Singular means you have standards they can't hack, a presence they can't replicate, and a value that doesn't come from chasing their approval. Your identity becomes tight, consistent, recognizable. You don't shapeshift to fit their mood. You don't over-agree to be kept. You don't shrink your boundaries to stay liked. Because the moment you become flexible for comfort, you become replaceable by someone even more flexible. Instead, you become predictable in one thing: self-respect. That's what makes you rare. You also build what I call double value. One value is what you provide: competence, loyalty, insight, calm, results, perspective, emotional stability. The second value is what you cost to lose. Your absence creates friction, not because you punish, because you were quietly holding the structure together. You were the calm in the chaos. You were the clarity in the noise. When you leave, things don't explode. They simply feel worse, slower, less clean, less certain. And powerful people hate that. They hate invisible costs because invisible costs are hard to control. Here's the ruthless rule. If your presence feels optional, they treat you as optional. So you stop being always there. You stop being the person who rescues them from consequences. You stop being the emotional sponge that absorbs their moods. You stop being the free consultant, the unpaid therapist, the loyal soldier with no rank. You bring value, but you do not over-deliver to someone who under-respects you. And you make your life full without them so they can feel it. You are not clinging to their world. You are choosing it. That choice is what breaks the illusion. Because when they believe you have options, when they see you could walk away cleanly and still thrive, they finally understand the truth that terrifies them. Replacing you will not be simple. It will be a downgrade. Controlled mystery. You keep a private world. Powerful people don't obsess over what they fully understand. They obsess over what they can't fully read. That's why your next weapon is controlled mystery, not secrecy for attention, not silence to provoke, but privacy as a signal of self-respect. Most people overshare because they're trying to be chosen. They narrate their pain, explain their motives, reveal their fears, show their whole emotional map like it's proof of honesty. And it is honest, but it's also information. And information is leverage. The powerful collect it even unconsciously. They learn where you're sensitive. They learn what makes you chase. They learn what you'll tolerate. Then they know exactly how far they can push before you break. So you stop giving away the blueprint of your mind. You become warm without being exposed, present without being owned. You speak in clean lines. You answer without over-explaining. You share, but you don't dump. You let them earn access to your deeper layers through consistent respect over time. This is what makes your presence heavy, because when you reveal too much too soon, you feel common. When you reveal slowly and deliberately, you feel rare. And rare creates tension, rare creates curiosity, rare creates careful behavior from people who don't want to lose the chance. Here's what controlled mystery does inside a powerful person. It forces them to invest. They start paying attention to patterns. They start replaying conversations. They start wondering what you're thinking when you don't rush to fill the silence. They start noticing the parts of your life that are not centered around them. Your routines, your standards, your friendships, your goals, your private world. And the moment they sense you have a world they are not the king of, something changes. They can't assume you'll orbit them forever. They can't assume their status grants them full access. They must qualify. They must maintain respect to stay close. But the key is this. Your mystery must come from strength, not fear. If your silence feels anxious, they will dominate it. If your privacy feels like a posture, they will test it. But if your privacy feels natural, like you simply don't need to perform, then it becomes intimidating. You become the person who doesn't seek validation through disclosure. The person who doesn't beg for intimacy by revealing wounds. The person who can sit across from power and not try to impress it. And that is unsettling. Because it signals something the powerful recognize instantly. You have internal control. You have boundaries that exist even when no one is watching. You are not desperate to be known. You are selective, and selection is power. When they realize they can't fully predict you, can't fully map you, can't fully own you, they treat you more carefully. Because the unknown is always treated as a potential threat and a potential treasure. Tests and traps. How powerful people probe your weakness. The moment you start rising in value, the powerful will test you, not because they're cruel, but because testing is how power verifies control. They will probe for the old version of you, the version they could steer with a look, a delay, a compliment, or a cold shoulder. And if you don't understand these tests, you'll think they are moods or miscommunication. No, they are calibration. First comes the delay test. They take longer to respond. They forget. They keep you waiting just to see if your anxiety will volunteer for them. If you double text, if you ask for reassurance, if you try to fix the silence, they learn you're still hooked. Then comes the warmth withdrawal test. They give you attention, make you feel chosen, then suddenly pull back. It's designed to create a craving loop, your mind chasing the last high. If you chase it, you're trained. Next is triangulation. They mention another person, an admirer, a replacement option, just enough to spark competition in you. They want you to prove yourself. They want you to audition. And if you compete, you kneel without realizing it. Then comes guilt. After all I've done for you, you're being difficult, you're overthinking, you're selfish. Guilt is a leash made of morality. And powerful people love moral leashes because they look like virtue while functioning like control. Finally, there's the boundary breach test. They push a small disrespect, late cancellation, subtle insult, ignoring your preference, just to see if you'll swallow it to keep access. Your job is not to fight these tests. Your job is to pass them with calm. Calm is the language of authority. When they delay, you don't panic. You keep moving. You respond when it's convenient, not when it's urgent for your ego. When they withdraw warmth, you don't chase. You don't accuse. You simply match the new temperature with a composed distance, not as revenge, as alignment. When they triangulate, you don't compete. You don't get jealous and perform. You become still. You let them feel the emptiness of trying to bait you. You might even say, calmly, do what you feel is best, and mean it. That sentence is poison to manipulators because it removes the battlefield. When they use guilt, you don't defend yourself with long explanations. You refuse the frame. You say, I'm comfortable with my decision, and you end the discussion. When they breach a boundary, you don't rage. You enforce. Shorter access, less availability, fewer privileges. You treat disrespect like a policy violation, not a personal tragedy. This is the hidden advantage. The powerful expect emotional negotiations. They expect arguments. They expect you to try to persuade them to treat you well. But when you stop negotiating and start enforcing, they feel a new kind of danger. Consequence without drama. They can't paint you as unstable. They can't bait you into embarrassing yourself. They can't make you chase their approval. And that's when the tests escalate because they want confirmation that you're real. Your job is to stay consistent. Consistency is what terrifies power because it means you are not improv. You are not a mood. You are a standard, and standards don't bend for status. Once they realize their tactics don't move you, the game shifts. They stop trying to control you with psychology and start trying to keep you with respect. The dark trick revealed, be the calm exit. And this is the dark trick, and it's colder than anything you've tried before. Become the calm exit. Not the threat, not the tantrum, not the ultimatum. The exit. Quiet, ready, clean. Powerful people fear losing you when they sense you can walk away without needing to win, without needing to be right, without needing to be understood. Because they can handle chaos, they can handle arguments, they can handle emotional storms. Storms are familiar. Storms are controllable. They apologize, they charm, they escalate, they punish, they wait you out. And eventually the storm exhausts itself and crawls back to them. But a calm exit? That's different. A calm exit has no handle. It offers no scene to manage, no narrative to twist, no weakness to exploit. It simply removes itself. And removal is the one thing power hates because power survives by keeping pieces on the board. You build this fear by living as if leaving is always possible, not dramatic leaving, not I'm done speeches, inner leaving. You keep friendships, skills, and routines beyond them. You make your own plans, money, and meaning. That independence isn't a threat you wave. It's the ground you stand on, even when they're nearby. You keep your dignity packed. You keep your life moving. You keep your identity intact. You don't invest so blindly that you can't afford to detach. You don't merge your self-worth with their attention. You don't hand them the remote control to your nervous system. When they disrespect you, you don't plead for a better version of them. You simply step back as if it's the most natural thing in the world. That's the signal. The signal says, I can lose you and still breathe. Here is the exact mechanism in their mind. The powerful assume most people are trapped. Trapped by desire, by fear, by status, by scarcity, by loneliness, by ego. They assume your attachment will keep you in line. So they test you because they think every human has a price. When you become the calm exit, you prove something terrifying. Your price is not approval. Your price is not access. Your price is not being chosen. Your price is respect. And if respect isn't paid, the transaction ends. No shouting, no begging, no revenge, just distance. Now watch what happens. They start managing themselves around you. They become careful with jokes, careful with delays, careful with their tone, not because you demanded it, but because they feel the cliff edge. They can't predict whether one more disrespect will be the moment you detach. And detachment is death to them because they don't fear losing a person. They fear losing control over the story. They fear you leaving without validating their importance. They fear you leaving without giving them closure. They fear you leaving while remaining calm because calm implies you have options. Calm implies you are not emotionally hostage. So you embody the exit in small moments. You end conversations before they turn into negotiations. You decline invitations that feel like crumbs. You don't accept last-minute disrespect disguised as spontaneity. You don't argue about boundaries. You enforce them with your feet. You say less. You do more. You keep your promises to yourself. You let people feel the weight of your absence when they mishandle your presence. And you never announce the exit. You simply live like someone who can disappear and still be whole. That is the dark trick. That is why powerful people begin to fear losing you, because for the first time, they sense the truth. You are not in their hands. You are in your own. Final lock-in, identity oath. This is where it ends, and where you stop being a lesson people learn too late. You've heard the mechanics, but now you need the identity, because strategies fail when your identity stays weak. The world is full of people who can act strong for a day, then collapse back into old hunger the moment they feel ignored. That's not you anymore. From this point forward, you move like someone who cannot be bought with attention or broken with absence. You are not chasing respect, you are embodying it. You are not arguing for value, you are living as if your value is non-negotiable. You understand the rule the powerful never say out loud. They treat you exactly the way you teach them to treat you, and you teach them through what you tolerate, what you reward, and what you remove yourself from. So let's seal it. You will no longer give free access to people who offer uncertain terms. You will no longer donate emotional labor to those who profit from your confusion. You will no longer explain your boundaries to someone who enjoys crossing them. You will no longer compete for a seat at tables where disrespect is the entrance fee. Instead, you will become precise, scarcity with discipline, warmth with standards, privacy with strength, consequences without drama, calm without apology. You will be kind but never compliant. You will be present but never owned. You will listen but never beg. You will love but never plead. And when the moment comes, when someone powerful tries to test you with delay, guilt, triangulation, or disrespect, you will not explode. You will not panic. You will not chase. You will simply adjust your access like a professional adjusting a policy. Because your peace is not up for negotiation. Your time is not a charity. Your loyalty is not a chain. Your attention is not a public resource. This is the mindset that makes powerful people careful with you. They sense you are not trapped by your feelings, and you are not frightened of your own solitude. They can't punish you with distance because you can live in distance. They can't bait you with crumbs because you have standards. They can't confuse you into obedience because you refuse unclear terms. They can't buy you with praise because your self-worth is not a marketplace. And once they feel that, they start maintaining you. They start thinking twice. They start respecting the line you never announce but always enforce. That is what untouchable really means. Not that nobody tries you. They will. Untouchable means nobody succeeds. Untouchable means you don't surrender your dignity for comfort. Untouchable means you can walk away cleanly without needing closure, because closure is a luxury you don't need from people who failed the standard. Now I want you to lock this into your mind with a phrase, something you will carry like a private oath. Go to the comments and write this exact line, so you make it real. I am the calm exit. Not I hope, not I'm trying, not maybe someday. Say it like a verdict, say it like a boundary, say it like a man who finally understands that being feared isn't about intimidation. It's about being impossible to control. And if this hit you, if you felt the shift while you listened, then you already know you're stepping into a different category of person. Now do the ritual. Like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next time you're tested, you're going to need this mindset sharp, not rusty.